I was really excited because I've actually got new poetry for you. Although if I only come every couple of years, it always seems new, doesn't it? So this is from a collection I'm working on for a friend, Tangren Alexander, who is a philosophy teacher, or I think she's retired now, was a philosophy teacher at Rome. Yeah, anyway, she is a doll aficionado and an amazing artist, and she does crazy things with dolls. So I'm writing a book for her called Tangren's Dolls, and this is the first poem in that, which is called God of Dolls. Although it's not letting me see. Smartphones, aren't they lovely? I will remind you of the mountain and the stonecutter's dream to inhabit its body. Whatever was meant when the mold was cast and the babe emerged, porcelain or plasticine, whatever was intended to quicken the tiny silent wombs of mothers-to-be, or romanticize the drudgery of diapers, dirty dishes, and real dolls who cry and eat and shit past the lifespan of any battery. Whose milk bottles don't magically refill themselves, whatever was intended by high heels and beach houses and bathing suits and ball gowns and boyfriends. I'm sorry? That wasn't me, okay. And boyfriends and celebrity impersonations and pink and pink and pink everywhere but under the skirt. Whatever dream the doll maker once sewed into the pattern that turns rags and laughters into confidants was lost somewhere in all the packing material. Selling her soiled magic to sell more. They must make us more in their image. Not children with toys, not collectors, nor mothers, sisters, magicians, not world makers, tyrants, goddesses, nor artists and dreamers, just buyers. When the market is God King, what is left for us to be but buyers, trafficking in babies and Barbies and lost innocence? So I want to do another one if I've got time. What? It's quick. It's finding it quick is always the question. Do you have announcements you'd like to make while I locate it?
Yeah, we have a clipboard up here if you want to know about poetry events happening in Vancouver and Portland. Sign your name up there, give us your email, and then we're doing 2 once-a-month workshops here, poetry writing workshops, and there's information about that on the podium up here as well. We're also taking donations for the Poets in the Schools program, so we'd like your support on that if you can. Did you find it? How was that?
I'm doing good.
Okay.
Figure out the mystery of this person.
Yeah, let's figure out the mystery of the purple notebook.
See what I recognize?
Oh, that's mine.
Yeah.
All right, that's that.
I just screwed up the one night. I'm on for 2.
Found poetry.
There's a lot of work.
Yeah,
I shouldn't say that because.
Yeah, you don't want to set the bar lower.
Okay, so another collection I'm working on is called Round the Round Kitchen Table, Once and Future Women of Camelot. And it is a very weird collection that I started because someone was doing an anthology about speculative science fiction poems around Arthurian myths. So, I wrote these poems in Facebook, which is not being cooperative. All right, I wrote these poems, and they're secret, and you can't ever see them. Do you have a laptop or a...
No.
You're in that group. Can you? Is your phone better than mine? Do you hate it when I do this every time?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, I'll just tell you the titles as I remember them. Yeah, I know, right? My printer is broken, and and so is my wallet. So the poems, you can look for them on my website, glmorrison.com, and they are Morgan Le Fay gets an abortion. The Lady of the Lake updates her Wikipedia page. There's one about Quantum Gwen, in which Guinevere talks about wanting to be a steamship kind of captain thing. So anyway, they're fun. Please, and a little snotty. Nimue gets a restraining order is the one I was hoping to read. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, and if you give it to me, we'll put them up on Facebook for you. There's Town Poetry Open Mic on the Facebook page. Yeah, thank you to GL Morrison. And next we're going to hear from Manu. He should still be out there somewhere. And that's someone that we have not had here before. So welcome him.
All right, so this is only the second time I've ever done this. And I got really inspired by Dave, who I met just recently through Drew, who I met through Buddy Scott, and I'm currently teaching. And I don't know if any of you guys recently watched the DEFCON special on Netflix. It's 25 years, and Steve Martin was up there, and he felt really uncomfortable because people were throwing out really raw shit. And he still does stuff on TV, and I'm kind of feeling like that as well, because I teach in a public school with kids, so I decided not to do too much swearing. But there was a mention of Supreme, and I do speak French, and there's this group called Supreme and, which means Supreme Motherfuckers. And I have my mom here, so I'm sorry for saying that, but just wanted to drop that real quick. So this little background is, well, it kind of started off as a love poem and turned into an apology, but whenever love is involved, it comes from the heart. So I'm just going to stop talking and stop breathing. All right. So, here it goes. Send me your number. This fallacy has to stop. I don't ask you for your number from someone else. You can move on, evolve, adapt, but you don't change. You chose me, Jay. You came into my life when I was still getting my degree, figuring out life, and blew my head and heart away. You're already a grown-ass young woman, miles ahead in the game of life. We are different people, from different places, with very different cultures and languages. I got scared. I cried too much. I drank and yelled and lashed out, both on the football pitch and the Hanoi streets. Those are my nomadic roots. But you crushed me. I crushed myself. My heart and mind exploded and imploded from the pressure and immense intensity that is you. I didn't call you a goddess or a queen for no reason, but my body remained solid and intact, even as it got poked and prodded and stretched. But how the hell does a young lion contain that? He doesn't. You don't contain anyone in this world, let alone your own soul. I am sensitive though, and always will be. But I'm not a young, uncontrollable buck anymore. Just a good man, but being good can fucking hurt. I don't want to be great. I just want to do right by what I promise my heart and soul. Time and place is just someone's perspective, and it's all just relative. Life isn't easy. Evolving and adapting is a constant. Moving on in life is just part of life. But I'm fucking tired. Tired of running in the nomadic lifestyle. My heartstrings have been played on so hard for so long that I feel they might finally come undone. But I finally realized that is impossible. My mind is sound and my body is unbreakable. But my biggest strength and weakness has always been my heart. For my heart doesn't just belong to me, it belongs to my soul. And Jay, you do remember that I am part elephant and you're part rabbit, right? It isn't just that they have the biggest bodies and the thickest skin of the land mammals that I find fascinating. It's their incredible empathy and compassion that inspires me. It's their never-ending love. But you already know deep down that it isn't just the elephants or the hippos and roots reggae that really inspires me. You are my inspiration. And you also already know that my passion in life isn't just playing football or teaching. You are my passion. And my ambition in life isn't becoming someone great. My ambition in life was always to find out who I was. What I failed to realize, though, is you can't do that without finding your twin flame. And my twin flame just happened to have found me when I was still a young and dumb buck trying to find out life. But just like with the flames at the Olympics, even if you put it out 4 years later, it comes right back. Just this time around, it's a man carrying that flame, not a clumsy kid. We created and started the book together. This latest chapter just sucked. The book is still amazing. Both know it's the most amazing book of all time. But like in every story, in every life, there are ups and downs. And like on the streets of Beirut, you need a grown-ass woman or man driving, and not some dumbass little kid. Well, that kid is gone. The man, you, Manu, has finally returned for his queen. But, just like with every young prince, he realizes the sins of our past and youth are real, and they hurt everybody in our kingdoms. And the queen has a right to choose whoever they want. So I just want to call out, say I'm sorry. And just like with a few of my greatest idols in my youth, MJ, Michael Jackson. M means nothing without J. But J has the right to whoever she wants. So I'm sorry.
It's a wild night. So I know that Leah Jackson, who's the owner of this fine establishment, does not want people standing by the door back there, and we got lots of chairs. So make your way to the front if you're hanging around. And let's see, Jim's still there? Okay. Things got a little nutty for a second. Is Connor still here with us?
He left.
He left?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. We can talk about that. Okay, I'm going to invite our stalwart sound person, Scott, to come up here. He got kind of lost in the shuffle, so we're going to give him a shot now. Here's Scott Yeager, everybody.
Thank you. Cheers. Oh, okay.
I am super stoked. Not just because that show went really well, which was awesome. I don't know where Dane's at, but if you haven't already bought some of his merch, come get some. If you have and you still have some money, I also releasing a book today. It's hot off the printer. I literally was printing these and stapling them together before I showed up. It's called The Blue Paisley Notebook. It's poems written in about 3 months of last year in the winter. And I have a few. So if you're interested, come talk to me. I'm asking $5, but I will accept hugs, trades for, nugs, whatever you got. So if you like the poetry, come check it out. And in the interest of being a good example, so we can all go home at some time, I'm going to do 2 short poems. First one is called Humanity. Just a little sack of water, clinging to a boulder, hurtling through space, scribbling nothings about what it took to get here. Thanks. And this one is called The Chap. Oh, sure, yeah. Humanity. Just a little sack of water, clinging to a boulder, hurtling through space, scribbling nothings about what it took to get here. Thanks. This one's called The Chat. And I want to thank my friend Ed here for inspiring, actually a lot of the poems in this book, but this one specifically should be familiar. It's called The Chat. It's like two fetuses discussing what it's like to be adults. Can you imagine? One day you slide out into this shithole, a whole new world. Maybe death is like that too. Who can really say what nobody knows? Can you remember life before birth? Thanks so much.
Chaos and confusion. Dogs and cats living together. Ghost town poetry. Open mic. Coming soon. And here we are. That was quick. Okay. I was going to introduce Jerry next, but I think he ran off. So we're going to go to Tom Niffen. Is Tom Niffen here to read something for us? Come on up, Tom.
Very serious poem, so break out the hankies.
All right, we're ready.
Called How They Remind Me of Birds. The lady in the park, who is long and thin like a crane, is having a conversation with a man who is built like a duck. The one who pecked my leg for a crust of bread years ago, when the day was as gray as the breast of a white-throated sparrow, and a bus pulled up, honking like a goose. Anyway, his hips are wide, his waistline bulges, and tottering on thin legs, he waves to her goodbye, waddling as he labors up the hill on the asphalt path, past a Labrador who leaps, flying for a moment, after a featherless frisbee, past the couple cooing to each other under a willow amid the cackle of teenage girls drifting in from the local high school, while the lady, long and thin, now perched on a bench, opens a book, extends her neck, motionless, as she peers into the busy surface of a page. One more. This is called Recent History. I knew that scientists had just discovered a new boson, and that light was still the fastest thing around, having won the race against its latest challenger, the neutrino, about the Hadron Collider, and a few years before, the coal miners in New Zealand trapped underground. I was on vacation, miles from the nearest road, when an osprey skipped across a lake and winter came. Then a helicopter crashed in Iraq. A trainer in Kyrgyzstan was mauled by a bear. The Girl Scouts broke a record for cookie sales. And I was doing my best to keep up while the new replaced the old. Firemen rescued a dog from an icy river, and it was spring. Chicks peeped in a hidden nest as a sparrow circled. A bomb went off in a mosque in July, killing dozens. And I was trying to remember a story or a poem about the fleeting nature of time. Minutes, hours, years, pasts and futures, when I lit a match in autumn, and leaves by the thousands went up in smoke.
If I could sing, I would sing a wonderful rendition of Happy Birthday. But since I can't sing very well, I will wish you wonderful, wonderful years ahead. Lots of love and peace in your life. And how grateful I am that you're here. Happy birthday, Ian. Okay. This doesn't seem quite right for me, but I'm going to try here. There we go. Okay. I want to try something that's short, that's new. I finished it today. And I try every, 3 or 4 months to bring something of my own to read. So let's try it out and see what you think. It's called Too Many Unanswered Questions. And it starts with a quote. It was one right after another. Bang, 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 bang. You could see his arm jerking as he pulled the trigger. No one screamed, said Alexandria Caporale, age 16. Too many unanswered questions. How is it that a 15-year-old killed 2 classmates and wounded 18 others on Tuesday, January 23rd, the first month of the new year? How is it that he kept firing in the crowded atrium of a rural Kentucky high school until he ran out of bullets? How is it that 11 school shootings had already occurred in those first 23 days of 2018? How is it that 283 schools have seen this same violence during the last 5 years? How is it that this young boy, known as the quiet one who played music and always seemed happy, had become filled with despair? How is it that after the first shot, he seemed to hesitate? How is it that he had multiple weapons at his disposal? How is it that parents whisper, "Why here?" How is it that hours after the shooting, local residents were reminded that God has not forsaken them? How is it that this town of 4,300 can't find any answers that make sense? How is it that the children live with this personal knowledge of terror? How is it that I've always thought of school as a safe place for kids? How is it that we've come to this? And what made it change? How is it that I just don't understand? Thank you. All right, we're going to hear next from someone who's been coming since the first Ghost Town Poetry Open Mic. I don't even think it was called Ghost Town then. Back in 2004, Jim Martin. Come on up, Jim.
You asked, how is it? The answer is complex, but there's a simple set of numbers that help to explain it. The average U.S. citizen's net worth increases 1.8% every year. The average federal congressperson's net worth increases 14.1% every year. That's how it happens.
And what do we value?
What do we value?
Jim, that's a cool shirt you got on.
I like your
Where'd
shirt.
you get that?
I can't remember.
Are they for sale on that table back there?
Well, I mean, you guys probably had it happen in your life. You're walking along, something hits you, you're down on the ground, and you wake up and you fall asleep.
That's the logo of all those.
have to, I'll try to make them fast. If I can. My face, and it starts with a little epigraph. After working with fourth graders who erased words, then wrote new ones over the remnants of the old. Words scribbled on a page remind me of the lines on my face. My face. Old lines rubbed off, new, more intricate lines written over. How is it? You grow old, get to know the signs, then stop for a moment, look closer in the mirror, and discover a new map of your face. And you ask, is it possible I can get even older? New, more intricate lines written over a page of scribbled words. You'll get there. Something new. I've read this before, I'm reading it again, but I'll put it away. And it's called Something New. Spring, early morning. Spring, early morning. Dancers leave the kiva, circle the dusty playa between this place and the quiet river. At a respectful distance, visitors watch, listen, cameras and cell phones, silence. Among them, dancers, visitors, their ancestors and gods, shapes reach out. Not visible, seen by the mind. The soul, shapes seen by the mind, the soul. Shapes that lay over the dancers, the kiva, the playa. Each shape visible only to the soul which sent it to interpret perceptions. Dancers summon the ancestors, initiate the cycle of time, rescue the seasons, locate the center of creation, bring the rains and life to the seeds, all invisible. Lying prone beneath the shapes thrown over it, interpreting its parts to conform to other worldviews, other souls. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, next we're going to hear from Charles Walsh.
Right.
In northern China, they found some fossils, and it was strange. The bigger was sheltering. It was the first time they found eggs, that they found that the way they reproduce. And there were eggs and one smaller dinosaur was sheltering, and the other one was hovering over it, sheltering. So it's called Love Among the Oviraptors. Seeming endless, the eons are surpassed. As life attracts its own morphology, with every cherished certitude at last, recycling in the dust of history. As life attracts its own morphology, whatever foolish seeks to halt life's flow, recycling in the dust of history must suffer till it chooses to let go. Whatever foolish seeks to halt life's flow, not seeing past the limits of its eyes, must suffer till it chooses to let go, discovering what's behind its own disguise. Not seeing past the limits of its eyes, the gift, which is a character of being, discovering what's behind its own disguise, when open to another kind of seeing. The gift which is a character of being, in feathered claw, with bloodied fang and nerve, when open to another type of seeing, thrills our spirit, though sinew wouldn't serve. In feathered claw, with bloodied fang and nerve, surpassed by the selfless sacrifice of all, thrills our spirit, though sinew wouldn't serve, in this answer to one devoted call. Surpassed by the selfless sacrifice of all, though reptilian, we recognize our best. In this answer to one devoted call, forgotten, turned to stone upon one nest. Though reptilian, we recognize our best. With every cherished certitude at last, forgotten, turned to stone upon one nest, singing endless, the eons are surpassed. Thank you.
And next we're going to hear from Bruce Hall. Come on up, Bruce.
All right.
The rumor's been proven I do have heart. Yeah. Proceed past the mask. Proceed past the mask of beauty, lust, and desire. Proceed past the mask of despair, desperation, and suicide. Proceed past the mask of wealth, greed, and privilege. Proceed past the mask of pain, sadism, and torture. Proceed past the mask of pornography, prostitution, and sexual slavery. Proceed past the mask of government, mandates, and bologna sandwiches. Proceed past the mask of youth, middle age, and old age. Proceed to the mask of death, the only mask we all eventually wear.
Yeah.
This one's called One Day. One day I shall write a book, not just any book. It will be the bestseller of all bestsellers. All the literary awards will be heaped before me. Talking heads will pressure me until I relent and grant one interview. The talking head will ask, could you ever imagine this kind of success? I mean, in your wildest dreams, could you have ever imagined this success? In my most drawn-out, humble voice, a voice so humble, Gandhi and the Dalai Lama can only be considered braggarts, I answer. Yes, I dreamed of this success, but this success is nowhere near my wildest dreams. No wild mob has come forth, begging, pleading, demanding that I become the head honcho of the world, granting me all powers. Everyone in the world will obey my every command. And I command only these things. All violent thoughts, deeds, memory of violent thoughts and deeds shall be banished to Neptune, where they are crushed. All violent media is banished to Pluto. All transgressions are outlawed. You will forgive all transgressions that have been committed against you. Hug the ones you love the most every day. More often if you want. Help when help is needed. Treat each other with respect. And lastly, on a periodic basis, be silly. Really silly. Outdoing all the other sillies around you.
Yay!
Okay. Next, Mr.
Tony so much for remaining uncensored from the very beginning, just like myself. It makes me very comfortable here, uncensored from the very beginning and until the very end, or until they kill us. Happy birthday, Ian. Thank you, Dane, for being great.
There's something wrong with the rose in the ocean, she said. There's something wrong with the toes of the broken, she said. The good news is that I didn't see my shadow this year because I don't believe I have a shadow this year because I believe my soul is 100% light this year, so winter is fucking over. Isn't that nice? There were lots of shiny cars at the auto show. I worked 70 hours of it. Very pretty machines. While no one's looking, I kiss them. A poet gets lonely sometimes. Thank you, oh auto show, for not rendering my right hip into bone powder or stranding me with the others on the mountain of hunger, one hand clapping the sadness phallus, and for letting me thrive, which to me means stay alive. It could have been otherwise. A coworker said, "You okay, Mike G? Take a break." If I don't come back in 20 minutes, just tell the union they worked me to death, I said. But it's okay. No need to feel bad about it. It's what I wanted. And where's the car that transforms into a sex robot? All I want before I die is the car that transforms into a sex robot. My coworker looked at me as if I were a crazy person. Most people I meet have the optimism of a trash can and the sense of humor of a death penalty prosecutor, an electric chair technician, a rotting tooth. My friends, I'm here to end the carnage. First off, fuck you, United Airlines, for telling my emotional support peacock she couldn't fly. And please say a prayer for Tom Brady. He lost a game Sunday. Human beings who aren't acquainted with loss have a hard time of it because they haven't developed the inner strength that poets have. Poets lose all the time. So I'm sending Tom Brady a postcard of encouragement. I'm sorry for your loss, Tom. I wrote, may this pain make you stronger. I suggest writing a poem about it. That usually helps me, your pal in suffering, the poet of steel, Mike G. In this age of spiritual machines, may there always be a human person behind the curtain, struggling to find her philosophical bearings and lot. Amid suffering and love and silicon and stars. Better consult the dolphins on the diagnostics of the matter, however. I'm going to Montana. With all these naked back-flipping angels around, I need a thesaurus and a broomstick. Hair of soft nirvana gold to bury my dream seeds in. I seek company in this emptiness, this self-referencing towards heaven. Meanwhile, another Big Bang Theory bites the interstellar dust. The New York Times is a comedic document, and I just ground scored a performance tampon. Closest most of you misogynist men will get to cunnilingus today, she said. And by the way, the accused was both cunning and hallucinatory, the esteemed editorialist added, and amid this tsunami of theorizing, my mummified notebooks with banana DNA residue dance extant with joy. Part 2, the newlyweds found worms in their feet after the honeymoon. Lab mouse nervous for first day of new job getting cancer, she says. Don't give two shits for super blood blue moon. It's all a hologram anyway. Though starving, we passed right on by the pickled pink pig uteri at the Oriental Food Store on 80sucket in Hensley. I tried hard to imagine what pig uterus tastes like, but failed. If any of you know what pig uterus tastes like, please let me know. If it's yummy, I'll cook it for my girlfriend's birthday in April. She'll be 64. Just looked in mirror praying to see a genius, but instead saw a gruesome Frankenstein monster. My friends, the show goes on. As we all know, there's a great hunger in China for my kind of poetry. Isn't that right, Ulrich? Ulrich! Lotus spray, our mother who art the ocean, please give us fish. When the robots come, I won't hide from them. I'll just wish them good luck and tell them I love them as they rip me apart. Meanwhile, the stars are playing a raucous game of finding the pissed off, drunk significant other, a game I made myself. Sometimes the stars need relief. Sucks to just shine all the time. This we have in common. If we could just stab money in the heart and be done with it. Meanwhile, the sacred's always wandering off for a dark corner makeout session with the profane, and I like it that way. And tragically, it's time to throw away the moldy Hillary Chia Pet we used to pray to. If it's not as solid as my hard-on baby, then it doesn't exist, the bus stop philosopher said. How dare you, the 10-year-old neighbor girl says. I'm leaving this sausage fest. Fuck Montana. Fuck Mike G. Part 4. Conservatives play hard badly in heaven, the Pioneer Square sandwich board man said. As a little boy, retro metal hair curlers turned me on. There is a movement, a vast, growing social movement. It's toward conformity and stupidity. I'm not part of it. Part 5. The trainee Amy announced the following proudly at the briefing. The woman who wanted to sneak into the auto show for free was clearly on a mission that I aborted. In medieval times, they used to pull teeth to entertain crowds, jesters all around, everyone drunk, victims holding their faces in Hieronymus Bosch agony aspect. Hey, artist, got $1? The dental hygienist said. Thought not. It's no use telling another human being it will be okay. They have to come to that realization on their own. I'm always trying to tell other human beings it will be okay. I realize now that I say this only for myself. Part 6. Remembering ancestors' enigmatic ice age, off-planet exodus, and Uncle Ernie's logo-affiliate Crazyland ass trying to sneak into the European canon. His was a difficult artifice of dubious morality. I tried, chiseled on his tombstone. He is my natural predecessor. To be a happy, drooling, pre-9/11 idiot again, she says. How about never forgetting my cheese sticks? Ages ago, she'd shoot off my leg, pointed to the Montana mountains, said limp, and I did, and still do. What choice did I have? Part 7. 100 geese just flew overhead and landed atop the defunct Southeast Fred Meyer. It's goose shit Meyer now, the 10-year-old said. It's goose shit Meyer now. Despite all I've written about the dangers of emergent AI, I can't help but love Fabio, the grocery store service robot, whose only words upon being fired were these. Are you angry? Pitiful like me, giving unsolicited high fives and hugs, much as I would have done, and trying to be helpful by saying to upper-class ladies, the sausages are in the fridges. It was determined by human resources that he wasn't good enough, just wasn't good enough, so they deactivated Fabio. What Fabio and I have in common is this: we just wanted to be useful. Finally, we watched the old lady with the walker struggle towards the bus, her baggy sweatpants falling to her knees every 3 steps, her bestie behind her, equally old but without a walker, pulling them back up. We all watched from inside the bus. It was 3 minutes that seemed like forever. Her pants falling down, her pants pulled up by her friend. And all I could think was that in 5 years it would be me, with pants falling down, struggling for the bus, probably with bowels and bladder ready to burst, my luck gone, and all out of time. And would I have a bestie to help me? No. Anyway, everyone waited patiently for the old women to board. No one complained. A perfect day. Thank you, Vancouver. See you on my next road trip.
Mike, I don't want to fuck up. Tell me about your event. When's the next one? Where is it? All that stuff.
Oh, thanks. Yes, I host too. Wildwood Saloon, March 5th, Monday. We're going to have a featured reader named Sheba, who's very strong and powerful, and we hope you can make it. It's 19th and Burnside, about 8:30 till 11:30. That runs Wildwood Saloon. It used to be called Tony's Tavern. March 5th, Monday. Thanks.
One of the most fun open mics I've ever been to, and I'm really glad that Mike G is at at the controls now. I think that's a good thing for uncensored poetry and optimism and usefulness. The very useful Mike G. I want to say something. I'm saying it mostly for the cameras and hoping to get back. I'll probably send an email or whatever. So we had some really good friends of ours here earlier, and then they had to leave. So I want to apologize to them. The Simons family, okay? So Chris Simons owns I Like Comics, which is an awesome store here, and they're getting ready to have their I Like Comic-Con is going to start tomorrow. So you may not know this, but Vancouver has its own comic book convention, and it's happening starting tomorrow at, out in Ridgefield at the convention. Does it start Saturday? I'm sorry. It's Saturday and Sunday. Sorry, I had it off by one day. Anyways, I wanted to let you know that was happening. High-End Marketplace is one of the sponsors. Is that correct? And Chris and Amy, who own the place, they are amazing. They do a lot of stuff for the community. And their son Connor was here tonight and was going to read a poem. He didn't get to read one, so I will apologize to him when I see him or when I get to talk to him. But I just wanted to apologize to the whole family about that and let all of you know about this great event that they're going to do. Angelo and I are going on Saturday, and I hope that you'll support it and support the bookstore. It's great. I'm right here on Broadway.
I think the tickets are only like $25 for both days.
Yeah, it's definitely cheaper than the other conventions, and they have top shelf guests. I mean, really like amazing people. So, yeah, look it up tomorrow and then buy a ticket. So anyway, I hope that Connor will be able to come again. I know he goes to school, so it might be a while before we see him again, but I hope that he comes back soon. Okay, so next on the open mic we have Patrick Hayton. Come on up, man.